let you guys know something. For the lower end communities, people who are trying to hustle and things like that, it affects you a lot. And I'm going to tell you guys a story, right? I'm originally from New York, Queens, New York, Far Rockaway, New York, to be exact, right? I grew up in Far Rockaway as a kid. I was around 11 years old when I started to pack bags in a supermarket that was right across the way from where I lived. Anyone in Far Rockaway, if you know Wavecrest over by Beach 20th and Secret Boulevard, Wavecrest Shopping Mall, there's a supermarket in there. I believe it's a C-Town. Now it used to be an Associated. I'm going back over 20 years ago, right? But I would pack bags in the supermarket sometime during the week after school and often every single weekend, right? Two registers within this supermarket would open up at 8 o'clock when the store first opened. Another one would open up at 9. Another one would open up at 10. Another one would open up at 11 to fully fill the area. There was a guy who was friends with the owner. He was an immigrant. This store had a lot of immigrants, undocumented people that worked there. Some of you may be saying, well, how do you know that they're undocumented? It really didn't matter what agency came. It could just be the Food Investigation Bureau or something like that. These people would run into the basement, into a back room, and hide. So I will leave that up to your own interpretation, right? But generally, throughout my time of packing bags at this supermarket, it was only one guy, right? There would be times where they would have other family members come over, and then in return, that would bump us back in the times that we can start to pack. Under the usual guy, hey, one of the other guys like me would get the other 8 o'clock spot. Somebody else would get the 9 o'clock spot. But if two more of their family members came, guess what? We would have to wait in order to pack. When I fast forwarded a little bit, I think I packed bags there for like a year. And then they asked me to work there on the weekends, right? Since I've been there for some time. On the weekends, I would come in and I would be the guy that stood in the front of the store and took your bag and held it and gave you the ticket to come back and pick it up when you're done shopping, right? I held that position for a few months. And don't get me wrong, I want you guys to think about it. At the time, I'm like I'm an 11, 12-year-old kid. I might have been like pushing 13 at the time that I'm mentioning right now. In my household, I had a single mother that was raising me. The money that I made packing bags in this supermarket helped my mother out in the household because she didn't have to give me an allowance. If I wanted a new pair of Jordans, I was able to buy that new pair of Jordans. So me being able to make some money inside of this supermarket really helped my household out, right? So now, the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I have this position. I come in one day and I found out that somebody else arrived from Dominican Republic. And guess what? Instead of working Saturday and Sunday, I get bumped down to just Sunday. So that takes one day amount of money out of my household, right? Eventually, long story short, I no longer work there at all. The person that they had come in took Sundays as well also. Now, if it wasn't for a illegal coming in, I wouldn't have had these different issues. And this is something that I am bringing to you guys that happened well over 20 years ago when we weren't in this deep of a migrant state that we currently are in. So fast forward to what's going on now in 2025, you can only imagine how bad it actually is. So with that being said, I don't want to hear that, hey, millions of undocumented immigrants coming into the country does not hurt someone else's household when it actually does. Fast forward to what we're currently speaking about in this video inside of the rideshare industry. We can make two different cases as far as how this has actually hurt the rideshare industry. And I've mentioned it previously. You have the first thing where you now have this major influx of people coming into the rideshare industry. It's something that we've spoke about. Everyone in the community knows this has been an issue. But then now on top of that, these millions of different people that are undocumented that you are allowing to pick people up in the rideshare industry, allowing for them to do food delivery. Like, after a few reports back in the day before the pandemic of you being the wrong person, heck, people would even complain on you for showing up in a car when the app actually said that you were on a bike. You can only get maybe 2 or 3 reports of this before your account is deactivated. One thing that I will tell you for sure, over the last year and a half, 2 years, the amount of people that I've seen on these apps with fake profiles is completely outrageous. And these platforms, Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats, should actually be ashamed of themselves, because they've actually created an environment where they have lax regulations now, where they're not deactivating and getting these people off the platform like how they used to back in the day. They're playing this to their advantage, where they figured out that if they go ahead and leave them and they don't have, these strict policies like how they used to of deactivating these accounts, they can leave them on there and fully sustain everything that they've been looking to do, which is to pay you less and still have someone that's able to give you that ride, still have someone that's able to bring you your food order at 1 in the morning, right?